Hello everyone, as with you always, this is Rich doing another video today on XRP. So I hope you're all having a wonderful day today wherever you are in this great world. We're gonna talk about XRP. And I gotta start with this. David Schwartz points out why cryptocurrencies have three big advantages over stablecoins. One, a stablecoin can only be stable with respect to one currency, and a stablecoin denominated in the fiat you need it to be stable relative to may not exist with the qualities you want. Applications that involve multiple jurisdictions with different native fiats don't benefit as much from the stability. 2. A stablecoin can be frozen or clawed back by its issuer. Ripple, for example, can refuse a U.S. court order, and the U.S. courts may decide that other things matter more than you do, even if you've done nothing wrong. For example, if some country asserts that you've supported terrorism and claims secret evidence, is a U.S. court going to protect you even if you claim that your only support for terrorism was in the form of speech criticizing that government's human rights record? Do we expect AI agents to defend themselves in courts? Do you want to have to? For most cryptocurrencies, most of the time, the upside is worth more than the downside. So if you don't need stability, you might prefer a cryptocurrency over a stablecoin for many applications. If I had to lock up some money in an escrow for a year, I might well prefer XRP or Bitcoin to USD because I know USD isn't going up. What David pointed out here was a couple different things. First of all, XRP cannot be frozen or clawed back. RLUSD can. Also, AI agents are going to prefer cryptocurrencies over stablecoins. And that's a very big deal because I always told you you're holding what the AI is going to be transacting in. And then when you look at the government control over a stablecoin like RLUSD versus a cryptocurrency like XRP, a lot of people would rather use XRP than RLUSD, the stablecoin. And I think we're going to see the usage of XRP being a lot higher than what most people expect very soon. This comes from Time Traveler. People are buying Cardano. Do you have any idea how not successful that utility is? How many people exist right now? 8 billion. Yet Cardano can only facilitate 10 to 20 transactions per second. Solana can facilitate 1,000 per second, but fails when the limits are pushed. XRP facilitates 1,500 per second solid. No issues ever. The world is full of greedy, self-centered, lustful, selfish people, and they want to buy and sell without delay or restriction. Cardano cannot meet that need objectively. Solana cannot meet that need objectively. XRP is already proving to meet that need all around the world. The Clarity Act is a formality to Ripple. They proved in the lawsuit that there was clarity. Investing in anything other than XRP is absolutely stupid. I'm not sorry for saying that. I'm not here to waste time or ruin lives. I see a lot of people now all of a sudden only investing in XRP. And me personally, I like to diversify. I did it for different reasons, though. I got into crypto when it was a much different time. And I always thought to myself, well, XRP is never going to move all the money. But this little handful of cryptocurrencies, they are going to move all the money. And I thought maybe I'll get better passive income options from maybe Stellar in the future, or maybe XDC, or IOTA, or Algo. We really don't know what the passive income options are going to be. But I will say this. Most cryptocurrencies out there, I can't think of one off the top of my head right now that is better positioned than XRP. The only one that I believe would even come close to XRP, actually there's two of them, QNT and HBAR. Those three cryptocurrencies, XRP, HBAR, and QNT, those would probably be my top three cryptocurrencies right now. Franklin Templeton's new head of Franklin Crypto, Chris Perkins, on Crypto America. This is the first you will hear about scale. We didn't come here to be small. Take a listen to this.
And so the three of us are going to drive this new unit. And it's like the first of many things you're going to hear about scale, right? We're here. We didn't come here to be small. We came here to be the leading active manager in the world. And really solving the problem for all these clients. So they have a problem, right? A couple of years ago, and I talk to them all the time. And they're like, I had all this risk. I couldn't be in the crypto space. I had so much risk. There's reputational risk. There's operational risk. Now I have a lot of risk if I'm not in this space. I need help. And I think we bring that real crypto nativity. Hopefully we're those trusted agents who navigate them through. We're in this space full time. Crypto is a weird place. There's incredible value, but you guys know it's the good, the bad, and the ugly. And for players who've been able to navigate that for some time, hopefully we can bring some real value to our clients.
What Franklin Templeton wanted to do is get ahead of the competition. And they didn't come here to be small. They want to be a major leader in this space. MoonPay and Ripple are looking for builders in the OWS hackathon. Create new products that use X402 or LUSD or XRP Ledger. Agentic payments, agentic commerce, wallets, identity, and guardrails, settlement infrastructure. Take notice that the projects that they want people to be working on, they have to do with payments or identity or wallets. Everything now is about how we're going to push forward from here because the final pieces of the puzzle are getting put in place right now. Jay Claver says, once things start moving, companies worldwide are going to be forced into crypto adoption to remain competitive. Utility-based crypto stands in a unique position, and the decoupling is going to be one for the record books. Here's what's going to happen. These companies that get here first, they get the upper hand on the competition. Now, the competition, they might not even like crypto, but they have to enter this space. Otherwise, they would just fold up and go out of business. That's what the network effect we're talking about is. That's how it's going to happen, because all it takes is one company, and all of a sudden it becomes a handful of companies. Then it becomes another handful of companies, all onboarding over a very short period of time. That's why when the explosion begins, there's not going to be any slowing down on XRP anytime soon. Ripple CTO says banks focus on XRP utility, not Ripple holdings. Joel Katz sarcastically rejects the claim that banks would avoid XRP because of Ripple's escrowed $34 billion holdings. Banks evaluate XRP based on utility, cost savings, and efficiency rather than Ripple's token ownership. This shift focuses to XRP's real-world utility and could strengthen its institutional adoption outlook. Why would the bank care if Ripple's holding XRP? Think about it. They want to get into this space. They also want to utilize this token for on-demand liquidity, for cost reduction in cross-border payments, plus speeding up cross-border payments also. So why the hell would they care how much Ripple is holding? It's like I said in that video the other day, nobody cares if you get rich off of your XRP. They already know most people are going to be out on the way to $100. So if there's a handful of XRP holders left, then there's a handful of XRP holders left. Those people will go on to become their own bank. They will go on and create generational wealth. People, I want to be clear once and for all. There is no TA capable of estimating the price of XRP in a utility market. They tell you to sell XRP at $10 to $20 because of the Bitcoin speculative bull run. The reality is that we are entering a new financial system that will last 70 years. What have I been saying? Everybody's telling you to sell at $10. The top is going to come in somewhere between $10 and $13. Other people are saying we're going to $27. I still believe that's way too conservative. I think we're about to go into a massive utility run. Nobody's expecting it to happen. And when it happens, it is going to be the greatest run we have ever seen for XRP. And a lot of XRP holders are going to become millionaires when it all happens. You could already see the shift beginning. Look at what's going on with Ripple every single day. Another announcement, another big announcement, another acquisition happening. Partners of Ripple building out and growing, creating their own partnerships, opening up even more rails for XRP to run on. And people want to sell at $10 to $20. It makes zero sense. Wells Fargo, head of strategy, says Ripple has options to replace old banking rails live at Swift Sibos. At Swift Community's Sibos 2021 event, this is what he said. And he was talking about the Nostro Vostro accounts also.
When we think about our business model is that we got to simplify things. We have to take as many players out of the chain as possible. And I think that it caused you to step back and rethink. I think 20 years ago, if you wanted to move money cross border, you automatically think about a Nostro and Vostro arrangement, getting a correspondent and sort of going down that route. Now, as Charlotte mentioned, Visa has products. Ripple has options. There are myriad options out there to think about how you move money around the world on behalf of your clients. And so that's changed.
And that was back in 2021. Now, Ripple Treasury officially participates at Swift Sibos 2026. XRP about to be put in front of the world's biggest banks. Ripple Treasury will officially be tending Swift Sibos 2026 event. That is huge. You know, I remember when Brad was first talking about that, and he said that's why they created Ripple Swell, is because they never got an invite to this before. Now it's happening this year. The shift is already happening. And, you know, we must be close now because they never talked about this before. We always had to speculate. We always had to have vision to see how Ripple connects to Swift. Now it's happening in real time. And it has a lot of people talking as well. This is a great question about my Swift XRP price prediction. For those that are new, I made a post about this a few days ago. This comes from Real Remy Relief. I got my numbers from Google AI. I'm not sure where PBD got his numbers from, but I assure you that $1,000 for full implementation is way too low. Remember when Patrick Bet David stated on his podcast that 10% of Swift was $100 and full implementation was $1,000 when that happens with Ripple? It looks like Ripple is about to fully capture Swift in a very short period of time. I think it's going to be like a co-partnership for a while. In other words, Swift is most likely going to start utilizing XRP and RLUSD and so on. But you know, when there's an alternative out there that is better, the banks are going to choose the alternative. And when Brad said that they were going after 14% of Swift's business, what Brad really meant is we are going to replace Swift, and it's just a matter of time. LEI Worldwide, IMF, and World Economic Forum are in discussions with Ripple to strengthen the global financial system. One of the issues currently facing the GFS global financial system is the need for fast, secure, and a cost-effective alternative to cross-border financial transactions. Cryptocurrencies may be the answer to this. We know it is currently being discussed with the IMF and the World Economic Forum, with projects such as Ripple Ledger potentially offering faster, more reliable, and cost-effective ways to send money abroad, like remittances. This could form a new stable bridge currency, and of course, it's documented. You know, the World Economic Forum, the IMF, the World Bank, the BIS, they have all been talking about Ripple, XRP, and Stellar, XLM for years. I'm talking all the way back before most of us ever even thought about getting into crypto, like 2014, 2015. And look at how confident Brad is that the IMF will hold XRP. Take a listen.
There's 2 votes.
Let me try.
Do you see IMF holding crypto assets in the future? Oh, they're over here. That's easier. You want to take one? Go for it. The first one's for you. IMF. Do you see IMF holding crypto assets in the future? I did not put that up there.
Remember, I'm from the legal department. I'm supposed to be very conservative about these things. I don't want to go into great details about
Maybe I should take what the IMF is going to do. I think we stunned Ross into silence with that one.
For that to happen, okay, under the current legal framework, some country would have to use a crypto asset as its currency.
Take notice he said some country would have to use a crypto asset as its currency. What is every country doing right now? They're all creating their own stable coin. All those stable coins are going to need a bridge. Central bank digital currencies are going to need a bridge. You are holding the bridge. And the IMF is now watching tokenization as well. This is going to be huge going forward. Everything we ever thought was going to happen for XRP, it's all playing out in real time right now. People still cannot grasp how big this actually is. I'm telling you, anybody that sells at $10, $20, $30, $40, they are soon going to regret it. Think about XRP all of a sudden starting to surge in price and not just hitting 3 digits, but hitting high 3 digits and then going on to hit 4 digits. And then it starts pushing even higher as all this value keeps onboarding to the XRP ledger. That's what's coming over the next couple of years. And it all starts in 2026. But until it happens, stay patient, stay positive, and let's get rich together. With that said, I'm going to wrap up this video. I want to thank you all for watching. I appreciate all of you. I'll see you in the next one. Have a great night.